All right, so call this meeting to a pledge of allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So we call this meeting to order. And the first is a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from October 25th. If I would like a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Mark, and second. Jim. And any comments, questions, or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Minutes pass. At this point, I will open it up for public comments. I will note that there is no public presence in the Village Hall. So anyone online? Okay, hearing none, we close public comment. Report of the wastewater, water and wastewater. At this point, I will read it because there's a pretty bad illness in Ed Charpot's family. So monthly report, the monthly report has been sent out for water. Meters have all been read village-wide. Bills have been sent out at this time, and at present there are no issues. I will point that we did have a call this afternoon from a resident saying that his bill had not been received. So I'm not sure what's going on with the post office because that's not the first time it's happened to him and others. But it was relatively easy to look it up online, provided that you have the right account code. Okay. All hydrants that failed to drain have been winterized. The curbs at Sunrise Diner have been dug up and turned off to the meter pit for Tanner's property. There are some cones still up there. I'm not sure if they're going to put additional dirt or covering on there to finish that surface. Chlorine and phosphate have been checked throughout the village. The meters that have been requested to be pulled have been. There are a few that they are waiting some requests for. And then the WIA grant report from Brendan is to be reviewed this week. And that will lead us to our special meeting on November 15th to review and look at that. Expenditures in the water department have been from Charlie John, Slack Chemicals, and Stevenson's, which I understand has been sold or is in the final throes of being sold. So no more things from Stevenson's. Wastewater reporting for Speedies and DMR has been completed for September. Pump stations 1 through 5 have received their annual cleaning of grease and grit. Pump station 4 was damaged during the microburst incident, and an insurance inspection has been made, and the damage has been temporarily fixed, and a new panel is required along with fencing. So I believe we're waiting to hear back from the insurance company as to how much that would cover and how much we would have to pay out. They videoed the sewer at 111 Oak Mountain Drive to establish location of service connection, and the location was marked for the owner's use. The plant has been winterized. Again, expenditures similar for Charlie John's and Stevenson's. And the upgrade project at this time the project is at a standstill until the requisite equipment arrives to complete that project. Are there any questions, comments for Ed that he can respond to at a later date? Hearing none, you'll move along. Okay. Next up, COVID updates. Oh, no, treasurer's report. Crystal O'Brien, would you give us the clerk treasurer's report?
Yes, really quickly. This week, the first election notice went into the is going into the Hamilton County Express for Wednesday. This is to comply with the first deadline for posting, which is Monday, November 15th. This notice designates the offices to be filled, and the terms this year, those offices are 2 trustees for 2-year terms. The notice will also be posted on the website, and then
which trustees are?
Cindy and Rebecca would be up for election this year.
Okay.
It's a little it feels, it is a little less than usual because with COVID, everything got
September,
pushed back
right.
to September, yep. Then I plan to have the election packets, ready for, the first date someone can sign a independent nominating petition is the 28th of December. So those will be ready within the next couple of months.
Great.
And I'm also gonna make those available online as well. So
Perfect.
somebody could go on and print them out,
Sure.
that information out. Unpaid taxes, the re-levy list has been sent to the county treasurer today. And then just a quick reminder that, the village is closed on Thursday in recognition of Veterans Day. And financial report number 5 is ready for review. And that's it.
Terrific. All right. Any questions or comments for Crystal? Okay, hearing none. For those who were able to review the treasury, the abstract, all in favor of approving that abstract, say aye. Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, a motion. May I have a motion to approve? Jim, second. Rebecca, any questions or comments? There is one comment that there was a mistake. It was inadvertently, the New York State retirement bill was inadvertently assigned both to water, the water and sewer, both in water, and that will be split up tomorrow, but the amounts are the same. There was also a fee in the A fund for $13,626 to Gorman. That was for rental and movable equipment. I have put in a specification or clarification that that is for the paving. So there was a roller and there was a grinder and something else. So that was for the paving of the 3 streets, including Oat Mountain Drive. What were the 3 streets? Yeah. Okay. So that's the clarification there. So all in favor of paying the abstract, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Any abstentions?
Me.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Rumsey. Okay, old business COVID update. I'm sorry, I did not look on the website today, but last week and the week before, there were quite a number of COVID cases in the county. A significant number was in Lake Pleasant and the village of Speculator. Those are resolving this week. No new cases had been reported, I believe, on Thursday or Friday. So there is a clinic for booster shots available tomorrow at the Lake Pleasant Fire Department, as well as 4 other places within the county. Contact the health department to sign up and register for that. Next is FEMA emergency Halloween storm update. These good news, Sagandaga water main project has been approved. We have filed for an extension. If you can imagine, it's been 2 years since that storm hit us. We have filed for an extension allowing the project to be completed by December 19th, 2023. The project will have to go out to bid. Ed Charpeau is confident that we'll be able to complete the project within the time frame. The other major project that is outstanding is the pump station off of Ruby Lane. It's tilted. It is in the final review stages. There was a lot of back and forth with an engineer and standards. They have now accepted all that, and it looks like they'll approve that project. And again, we would need to file for an extension until December 19th, 2023, and send the final project out to bid. Any questions on that? Okay. We'll pass on FEMA, the FEMA COVID. We'll pass on Mocomas Tower. I do understand that we are getting some donations in for that. Still on hold for septic and erosion regulations. The Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act, MRTA. So at our next board meeting, Trustee Cindy Rumsey will propose a local law to opt out of the marijuana retail sales, similar to what was done at the town level. I've just learned today that the New York State Office of Cannabis Management recently launched a website where local governments must file a copy of their local opt-out law. And that was in the NICOM legislative update, Crystal, that you received. So there's a website that was provided. This office filing requirement is in addition to the requirement to the file to the local law for the New York State Secretary of State's office. I'm not sure why they don't pull it off of there, but it's another filing we have to do. And I have notified the town in case they were not aware of that, because they have already passed their opt-out law. Each local government must complete the filing with the cannabis management in order to the opt-out to be effective. So not only do you have to do it with Department of State, you actually have to file it there to be legit. Update on village attorney. We had 2 attorneys expressed interest in the position, but after further discussion the opportunity and considering their own personal situations, they have opted not to pursue. So in the interim, I got a recommendation to contact Miller, Mannix, Shackner, and Hafner, located in Glens Falls. They provide and represent a number of towns and villages in various capacities, including general town council, representing village boards, planning boards, zoning board of appeals of fire districts, and they're in the process of putting together a proposal that we can entertain. Regarding the village attorney, or not the village attorney, the attorney that we put forward for a violation complaint of building codes, that has been delayed because of a medical emergency on the lawyer's part. So we're trying to see if we can keep that moving, because Bob retires at the end of the year, and we'd certainly like to get that filed. All right, so now getting into is there any other old business? Nope. Okay. So let's get into the pile of new business that we have going on. The first 2 items that we're going to talk about pertain to the water project. First is the seeker and the environmental assessment form and negative declaration resolution. So for those who are on Zoom, let me pull up some things. Seeker. Okay, and share screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing. One moment, please. Okay, there we go. So in this desktop whiteboard, let's do so you can see my desktop, is that right? So this is, can you see the resolution here?
I can.
I can.
Okay, great. Let me just make that a little, can I make this bigger? Okay. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is pass a resolution for the environmental assessment form and negative declaration resolution. So this is pertaining to, the resolution is to adopt the findings and conclusions relating to the probable environmental impacts contained in the attached environmental assessment form. So that's the negative finding that you were provided with, and file the negative declaration in accordance with the applicable provisions of the law. And then further resolve that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Speculator authorizes the mayor to take such further steps as might be necessary to discharge the responsibility as lead agency for this action. So as part of that, you were provided, and not everyone was able to open it, so I apologize for that. The first is the environmental, the first is the part 1 of the full environmental assessment form, and this is the project and the setting. I went through this and spoke with Brandon, and there were a couple things that were updated as far as dates of application, the description of the proposed action, the fact that we don't have a wastewater portion to this. It is 13 pages long. Did anyone have any additional comments or questions on this form?
Brandon, suggesting that this description is too specific and that we need to make it more vague.
So the only thing I did with let's go back to the beginning. So the description is replacement of existing deteriorated water main. So in his original description, it said replacement of existing deteriorated water main or installation of piping for redundancy and or looping estimated at approximately 10,000 linear feet of piping in the village's speculator distribution system. So what I did is I would make it more broad in that you list all of them out and it's and or for all of them. So it's just a matter of English, replacement, installation, and or. So it still stays sufficiently broad to address that. And the other specifics that Brendan had mentioned were modified within the final part 1. So we have application dates. So this would be if we get the approval on page, what page is this? This is page 2. The approval dates, we would have to apply to the APA, the Department of Health, the USACE, all in June, and that would be about the timing if we would hear for the program. It does ask us to understand zoning, so we are within the residential village, commercial business, we are near lakes and ponds. The parks that are served include Tunney Park, Speculator, Public Beach, the Village's Speculator Pavilion, and Ball Field. That's at the end of section C, and that's on page 3. And then project details goes through the details of the proposed project. Going on to page 4, the operations are pretty specific as far as, excavating and installing the new pipe. The only water body that would be affected would be the Sacandaga River. There is some excavation within wetland areas. This is at the top of page 5. Within wetland areas, streams and creeks will be avoided using a method of directional drilling. And that is what will be used on a side note for the redrilling of the Sacandaga water crossing. As we go down into page 6, really nothing. Page 7, pretty much straightforward. Page 8, not much there. We did list out different facilities that were going to be affected along the route. So that would be the Dayhab Center, Nathan Lichtauer Primary Care, the school. So those, I added the Dayhab in there. And let's see, anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so that is part 1. The next part is part 2, and I didn't have any comments or questions on part 2, which is the identification of potential impacts. Did anyone have any comments or changes or corrections on that?
No.
It's pretty straightforward. Okay, going on to part 3. Part 3 is the evaluation of the magnitude and importance of projects and determination of significance. Again, pretty straightforward in this 2-pager. Any comments or questions? This is signed by Brendan.
No.
Hearing none, we'll move on. Negative declaration, that's the next big thing. So this is going through and providing a notice of the impact. And basically the existing systems are in need of repairs. Village has several areas to loop and improve the system and prevent against system loss. It goes through the need of the project, the description of the project, the reason for supporting the determination of a negative declaration, The significance of the issues are outlined on the next pages 2 and page 3. Again, pretty straightforward. And the Board of Trustees has determined that the action will have no significant adverse environmental impact on the aesthetics, open spaces, air quality, water quality, land use, or energy. The action will have a significant impact on public health by improving underground utilities within the village of Speculator. And Brendan Becker is noted as the contact for additional information on this project. So in a review of all of that, I put forward to you the resolution and ask for a motion to approve the environmental assessment form and negative declaration of resolution, and allow me to take any further steps as necessary to discharge our responsibility as the lead agency.
So moved.
Okay, Mark Dunn? Second? Okay. Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Great. So next on our agenda are the water bond documents. So what I have provided for you is a resolution. I'm looking for the resolution. So I provided you a number of files. The majority of those files have to do with Crystal. Sorry. So there are a number of things that were addressed to Crystal. So the bond resolution we're going to vote on, the notice of adoption and bond resolution that she has to post, an affidavit of her posting that she actually did do the posting, certificate of no petition for referendum, and an estoppel notice. So all of those also have been provided. So the order of approval is that we first complete the seeker review, which we have done, and we have approved that resolution. And so now we are at the stage where we look for the bond resolution, and it's quite extensive. And it has a number of different sections. We're looking at an estimated cost of up to $2 million. That's a maximum cost. It goes through the period of probable usefulness as 40 years. Section 4, any grants obtained by the village to fund the capital shall be applied to pay the principal. Again, there's local finance law, temporary use of available funds not immediately required for the blah, blah, blah. Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments? I think there are like 14 or 15 sections of this bond.
No.
Anybody else?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So I would like a motion. Sorry to make you dizzy on this. So I would like a motion to accept this bond resolution as it is written. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Mark, second. Rebecca, second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor of the bond resolution for the Village of Speculator, Hamilton County, New York, authorizing the issuance of a $2 million serial bond to finance the reconstruction and improvement of the village water system, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, anybody need to take a breath? I do. Okay, so next up is medical insurance, my favorite thing. So Crystal and I met with representatives from Upstate Agency and had a lengthy conversation about the different opportunities that are presented. So if you would turn in your hymnals, first I want to point out on page 5. There are virtual care services and virtual physical therapy services available on all plans for $0 except a high deductible health plan, which is what we have. So the IRS actually requires members that are enrolled in high deductible health plans to pay for virtual care services until their deductible is met. And then after that, all these virtual services are zero. So in-person care or virtual care, excluding GIA, is subject to copay and cost share. So those are the in-person visits. The second thing is MVP members, if we decide to stay with MVP, can now get reimbursed for fitness equipment, health monitoring devices, and ergonomic office equipment, which I think is pretty good. And MVP small group plans such as ourselves no longer include free eye exam and a $60 eyewear allowance every other year. So that's something that we need to consider. Vision plans that were empowered or powered by iMed may be purchased alongside their small group plans. So we'll be looking at that. There are some changes to ID cards, that there's additional information that doesn't have an impact on us here. Medicare Advantage is for our retirement group. They are no longer offering the Gold Anywhere PPO with Medicare Advantage plan that we did have, but they have another program in place that we'll take a look at, and that's the Gold Anywhere PPO, and we have a comparison for that. Okay, so this is, I'm going to see how big I can make this, and turn in my cheat sheet.
That's
So,
good.
you can read that? I hope. Okay, terrific. All righty. So the first column here represents our current plan. The renewal plan is the same Gold 2. HD HMO is high deductible HMO. Option 2 is a second MVP plan called Silver 12 HMO. And option 3 is by a carrier CD-PHP. What I did with CD-PHP is I provided you a list of providers within our area because they don't cover as extensively as MVP, and that can be a problem with getting healthcare up there. So as you look for the renewal versus the current, it's pretty much the same. There's really no changes from last year to this year. When we look at the bottom line, we look at the fact that, I can't highlight it, we have 6 employees, single employees. We have 2 with families. So you're looking at the monthly rates of $700.87 per employee as a monthly rate. Employees that have families, we pay close to $2,000 a month, $1,997.48. The estimated monthly premium that the village would pay is $8,200, and annually we're looking at $98,402, which is a rate change of -1%. What we really need to look at is the total column here. So this takes into account the fact that it's the current and the renewal. So this covers 100% funding of the individual deductible. It covers 85% of all the other tiers and 60% payout of total liability. So that's what we put aside for our employees. So when you do that, our total estimated annual premium is $107,714. So again, it remains a decrease of 0.1% over our plan last year.
That doesn't include the routine vision or
Correct.
materials, yeah, so.
Correct. It doesn't include the adult vision or routine. And actually, that's a separate plan,
Right. That's a.
standalone. Yeah. So the other MVP plan, the Silver 12, also does not include the vision, the routine exam and vision materials. And the third plan, CD-PHP, does have a $75 allowance. And if you meet the deductible, it's $50 for each visit after that. So in looking across the program, the significant increases come with the deductible. Currently, we're paying $1,600 or a $3,200 aggregate for a family, and we pay a portion of the family. For MVP Silver, that goes up to $1,700 and $3,400 respectively. With CD PHP, we would pay $2,200 in the deductible with a $4,400 aggregate. The other increase that comes up is your out-of-pocket maximum. So under our current program for the renewal, it would be $5,000 out of pocket, as opposed to nearly $8,000 for MVP option, and then $5,500 for CDHP. When you go down for these other deductions for the PCP, the pediatric PCP, specialists, not telemedicine, but inpatient hospital, outpatient surgery, emergency room, ambulance, all of those really go up quite a bit, except for outpatient surgery. So in inpatient hospital, right now, it would be $200. Under MVP Silver, it'd be $1,500, and under CD PHP, it would be $500. So the overall out-of-pocket costs, or the out-of-pocket costs, once you reach your deductible, are higher than what they're paying now. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay.
I just think we should do the renewal.
Okay.
Since, we already have it, just do the renewal. The employees are familiar with the plan, and it's pretty cost effective. Changing to Capital District Physicians Health Plan. I mean, I have that, but, and I've had no problems with it at all. The only thing we should do is include routine exam for vision and the materials, so that'll increase the cost.
Okay, we can look at that because it's linked with dental, and we have not provided dental in the past. So with what Mark says, the MVP Silver would save us 10% overall, and the Capital District PHP plan would save us 9%, but it would cost our employees a bit more.
A lot more, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So with that said, there's also an issue with small group pediatric dental that is included in the MVP PPO. So of course that would involve two of our employees, not all of them. That's included in the program. With CD PHP, that would cost per enrollee another $65. So that's an added cost to what we have.
Per month or year?
That would be per month, I believe.
Yeah.
So that adds to the cost and decreases the overall savings. That's Medicare Advantage. We won't talk about that. So with the group dental analysis, that's separate. So this is a plan that's been provided for the employees totally at their cost. So we don't provide dental, but this is an opportunity. We have had United Concordia in the past. MetLife, pretty much the same as CD PHP, pretty much the same all the way down the road. The only difference is the providers. The providers are a lot less flexible with CD PHP than they are for MetLife. So those are all the forms that I had provided.
Just a comment, the United Concordia, we paid for vision and dental together, or not we, but the employees had vision and dental together. That is discontinuing, so whatever we choose now, it'll be separate plans,
Okay.
so.
So they can opt into one or both or none.
Right.
So it's even more flexible.
And the dental's always been at their cost?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the dental plan. So MetLife saves us 18% over the dental that was provided by United Concordia according to their payouts. And it saves them within network almost 23% but only 5% outside of network. So there's a lot more outside of network, so I think the best bang for our buck would be the MetLife. And then with vision, again, Concordia had rolled it together. This would be between Empire and MVP. And with these two options, MVP has the greater coverage within service versus the others. So the actual cost of this for an individual is $6.41 for the Empire, and it's $6.20 per month per employee for the MVP. And for a family, it's $21.40 versus $18.23. So a couple of decisions to be made, right? So first up, let me go back up here. The first up is the renewal of the general plan. I would like a motion to go with the MVP renewal, keep it with what it is, keep the out-of-pocket costs low for our employees. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Cindy, second?
Mark?
Mark, any questions or comments? Rebecca, you have a look on your face.
Well, it's just a lot to take in, like make a decision, you know, even though you had time at home to look at some of it. It's
Right.
like,
Do you have questions on it? I mean,
not questions that would hold anything up or anything. I mean, I just wonder, do you have a preference in these plans, Crystal? I mean,
there are two employees that opt out. Three employees that opt out, and Crystal is one of them. So
Okay.
she's of no help to us.
Any feedback from employees? I mean, are they happy with the plan, or have they had a problem?
They have gotten used to the plan. There was a big learning curve when they went from, when we went to the high deductible plan, mostly because we fund the deductible on an HRA card, so they have to
Use that card.
use that card to pay for the deductible part, which it gets a little confusing, but they have gotten used to that, how that all works now. So, I mean, other than that, I haven't really heard anything bad about the plan, so.
And there was something that we were paying for, right, for the employees?
The high deductible.
The deductible, yes. So on that card, we fully fund the deductible, for the employee themselves, which goes on an HRA card, and then they use that.
So it's like a debit card specific
Yeah,
for those costs.
And that's something we manage at the village, those cards.
We put
We
the
pay-
money in it.
Yeah, so we pay upstate agency to manage those accounts.
Right. Any other comments? I tend to stay away from the CDPHP just because we want to offer our employees the best opportunity to stay with their current physicians, providers, and if they need to go to specialists. The other thing that resonates with me is the amount of out-of-pocket would be, God forbid, that they're hospitalized.
Yeah.
Then that adds up very quickly. And emergency services and telemedicine and things like that, right? So, any other comments or questions, Jim? No? So all in favor,
How long has this plan been in effect?
we have had it for 2 years. So it's been in effect
We'll go
long
into the
before us, but this would be going into our third year.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
On the HRA card,
Mhm.
so if their deductible is not, if they don't use all the money that we've put in there for the deductible, what happens to that money?
It goes back into our pool for the next year.
Okay, so they can't keep
Yeah.
that money.
Correct. They don't
Okay.
keep it, it goes back into the plan.
Every year it resets.
So it resets, and then those monies are returned to the pool. So Crystal, do we know about how much they've used of their deductible this year?
I have not gotten.
Mind
that
you, it
from
goes
them.
all the way into March. They can still claim on that deductible.
Right.
Yeah, there's a 3-month,
Right.
grace period, so that at the end of the year,
Former bills can be
yeah,
applied.
bills that were,
But it would only be for that year.
Correct.
Correct.
It's only for the 2021 year.
Yeah.
But then that gets rolled into the next year. So we see
yeah,
that.
so we can technically, I mean, technically it's called, they refund us whatever money is left over in all those accounts, and then we can reattribute that to the 2022 year.
Okay.
Year. So,
Got it. Okay.
So Jim, you had a question? You're done?
Oh, yes, I did. Do we do this every year?
We do.
We have to review this every year
Yes, we do.
Yep.
in the fall, type of thing?
yes, this time of the year, every single year,
Yep. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
yeah.
And then it's ready for March.
Well, technically, the plan starts
January.
January 1st.
Right.
Because,
3 months, March is the
medical-
rollover, is that
Correct.
budget period?
No,
that's the
that's their period.
rollover for the HRA. It's just so that any bills that, or any visits that were done before December 31st of 2021 can still be,
don't get the
met.
bills
Like,
until January.
if they haven't met their deductible, can still be taken out of this year's.
Right. And then we do have the healthcare plan come and explain the program again to our employees, explain how the deductible works, how the cards work, and then
Answer any questions.
answer any and all questions and give them contact information on how to deal with that.
Oh, that's the upstate agency.
And that's the upstate agency, correct?
Thank you.
Yeah, they've
Okay.
been very helpful.
Yep. So, all in favor of renewing MVP Gold 2 high deductible HMO, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, so the next portion is the small group pediatric dental. So since we're going with MVP, high deductible HMO, we would stay with that. That's included. We're coming back to Medical Advantage. So with dental, we do not provide dental coverage, but for the MetLife versus the CDPHP, they're pretty much the same cost, $5 difference. But with outside of network, there's an upcharge of a few dollars with CDHP. So it would be my suggestion, with both plans being pretty much equal except for the number of providers in the system. I would like to hear a motion to renew dental with MetLife.
So moved.
Mark, second. Rebecca, second. Any questions or comments on this?
On this has dental and vision together.
No, this is, so we used to have dental and vision together. Now that plan is gone, so we have to split them. So this is dental paid entirely by the employee. We just need to sign up with a program that they can join into. Okay? So all in favor of MetLife as the dental plan, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passes for MetLife Dental. So going on to the vision, there's the Empire versus MVP. As we come down to the actual costs, MVP has a broader scope of providers. It's a little bit less per month for the individuals and with the families. Now, Mark, you had talked about, since vision had been included in the prior year, to include vision in this year. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you?
agree. I think,
Yeah.
we shouldn't switch that just because the insurance company won't cover it. So I agree with paying the additional funds.
So with this, is there a deductible? It doesn't look like there's a deductible.
Just the copay.
There's
Yeah,
just
there
a,
shouldn't be.
yeah, so this would be just $6.20, well, I would suggest we go with the MVP on this. And that would be $6.20 per year, per month for the individual, And for families, it's $18.23 per month, so we have two families in that regard. So, may I have a motion to include MVP vision, in the plan for our employees, in which the village would pay 100% of employees' costs?
So moved.
Deductible. Mark, second?
I'll second.
Cindy, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of adding MVP vision to the core set of medical coverage for our employees, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay, that's included. So Crystal, we will just have to let our employees know that. And of course, those who opt out of our medical plan could still have the opportunity to opt in for the vision portion. Okay, so,
Are you sure about that, with this box on the bottom? About vision where it says must be sold with the MVP medical plan?
yeah, and that's what we have.
Right, so that's what we're
Oh.
As
reviewing.
long as the whole village has it.
Correct.
Somebody doesn't have to be in.
That's what we understand. So we're the subscriber. So we're the subscriber of the plan, not an individual. So the subscriber must be enrolled in the MV medical plan, and a dependent enrolled in the medical does not have to enroll in the vision. Oh, I'm wrong. You are correct. I stand corrected. So a dependent enrolled in the medical does not have to enroll in the vision. However, a dependent enrolled in the vision must be enrolled on the medical plan. So it's only those who take the health care can be eligible for this portion of the vision. So the three people who opt out do not have an opportunity to opt in on this.
Yeah.
You are correct.
That might be an issue.
Would you like to opt in on the plan?
Not myself, but I think we,
Okay, so let's go back and ask what we can do for that.
I can go check right now
He opts out.
of the health, but I think he might
Okay.
do dental vision.
Okay,
So let's
let's,
go check right now.
would you please?
Can you just say what just happened, because I couldn't
Okay,
hear?
so what happened, what happened is that we do have one employee who does take advantage, has taken advantage in the past of vision and dental, but opts out of the medical, which is what they could do before. With this plan, if we go with MVP, if you opt out of the medical, you can't have the vision.
Right, right.
So he's just going back to make sure that he did opt in for the medical and dental. So if that's the case, and we wanted to include him in vision, we would have to go with the
A different plan.
Right.
And Empire would let us do that.
Empire would let us do that as a standalone plan. And in order to do that, that would cost us 20 cents per individual per month,
Extra.
extra.
And do they pay for their family, or do we pay for the family?
He's not a family,
No, but, oh, I see. But
but he's in the plan.
wouldn't we have to have everybody move over to that?
Who's in the health plan?
You said the other brother. The other brother is in the health plan.
Yes, I believe he is not one.
Okay, we think it's a moot point.
Okay.
We're checking on the mootness of the point.
But wouldn't we have to do everyone have to be on the same plan?
Yes, everyone would have to be on the same plan, absolutely.
Okay.
So that's what we're checking.
Okay,
We're
just
checking
don't,
what they
I'm
had
just,
asked and what they're able to do now. Yep,
all right, just making sure.
absolutely. I gotcha.
And then the discussion came because of the different parts within the MVP plan.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, and they're basically identical.
Identical.
Yes.
Are those doctors available, or, I mean, we currently have that plan now anyway, right?
It's fine. Okay, so that's a moot point.
Okay.
So MVP has a better number of providers than Empire.
Yeah.
So at this point, everyone who signed up for vision and dental in the past has signed up for medical. So it's a moot point. So I would look for a motion to have option 2 with MVP plan for vision, and that the village would pay for it for our employees. Okay, so that's the question. All in favor of MVP, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now let us move on to, we'll be insurance experts. Okay, Medicare Advantage. Our current plan is the Gold Anywhere plan. Yeah, this is on page 8. Okay, so this is the Gold Anywhere plan. The Gold Anywhere plan has been discontinued. So that means we look at MVP, US Care, PPO, or US Care, PPO, OSA. I'm not sure what OSA means. But they have a rate for employees who do not live in the service area. So right now we have 5 individuals who are retired, more on the horizon that may or may not stay in the area. So with MVP, US PPO, they can take this with them. So under notes, employer must contribute a minimum of 50% of the member premium, which we do, that's our minimum amount for retirement. Minimum requirement of 3 enrolled contracts, we have 5. The quote assumes an out-of-area percent of less than 50% of enrolled subscribers. So right now, 2 out of 5 can live elsewhere, and our rates would stay the same. And the rate for retirees in who live in the MVP service area. I don't know what that means. So the rate includes those who live in the area. And then for the other MVP option, there's a rate for retirees who do not live in the service area. So that tends to be a little higher. So they're basically similar plans. You have out of network, so those would be for people who do not live in the area. It's pretty comparable all the way down across both plans. There's more flexibility for our retirees in the MVP USA Care PPO versus the US Care PPO OSA. The difference in price is estimated monthly cost is $2,339 per individual versus $2,358, $18 difference, give or take. So the overall cost would be $28,064 versus $28,297. So,
And these numbers will change if any other employee retires, right?
correct. So if an employee retires and our medical plan goes down, well, it'd probably stay the same. And our retiree will go up, yes. Yep. So this represents, yes?
But we would end up paying more if
Overall.
more people are, yeah, but if more people are out of our area, if they move out of our area.
It would have to be less than 50%. So
Do we
right
know
now,
how many?
right now, everyone is remaining in the area.
Okay.
Right now, all 5 are in the area.
So do we have the, so we would just, I mean, if that changed, we would change it next year.
Correct. Yeah, so even if we had, let's say, 3 employees retire, because there are 3 of retirement age, if they opted to retire this year and all move out of town, this would still be an okay plan for us to have.
Right.
We'd still be
Right.
So
Okay.
we would be covered. All right, so, yeah. No one else can move out. Okay. So,
Don't you have to be 60? get to be 62 to join this plan.
Correct.
So some of those retirees would not be at that age yet. They would be still under that age. They would stay on our regular plan.
So those who would retire who are qualified for this plan
Right.
would,
Right.
we would still be covered.
Right.
Okay. So, all in favor of, doing motion, sorry. I would like a motion to have MVP USA Care PPO as our Medicare Advantage plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Mark. Second? Rebecca, second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jim? Aye. Oh,
Yep.
you okay? You with us?
Yeah.
Okay. And all opposed say no? Motion carries. And there ends the reading of medical plan.
Yay.
Do that.
Not yet.
Oh, no, not yet. Okay, so getting back to, stop share. Let me go back to here, medical insurance. Okay, new business. There is a special meeting, just a reminder, there is a special meeting that has been posted to be held on November 15th at 10 a.m. And this is to review the WIA grant submission and approve its submission on behalf of the village for the water department. There will be a public hearing also on November 15th at 7 p.m. for the planning board to discuss a variance to change the use classification of a building located at 2891 State Route 8 from a single-family dwelling to a multifamily dwelling. So this is, before you get to the village, coming from Four Corners, little white house before the dark brown one. They're looking to change that from a single dwelling into a four apartment building. So that hearing, so that would require a variance to allow that to happen. So that would be held on November 15th.
Is there enough space in there for four?
Oh, there is, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Come if you wish. I think it should be a good discussion, and personally, I think it's great that we can have more apartments in Speculator. Okay, any other new business? Hearing none, I'll go on to the board roundtable. As always, I have something to say. One, we have received a generous donation in the amount of $5,000 from Gospel Volunteers, Camp of the Woods, to be applied where is most needed. So I'll be sending a thank you note to Jim Hammond over at Camp of the Woods for that, and we can decide. We don't have to decide now, but we can decide where that $5,000 should be applied. We don't have to decide now, right? Just checking with Crystal. Second up is the DEC is closing our cross-country ski trail for the month of December. So in accordance with DEC Lime Timber Conservation Agreement, the cross-country ski trail is part of that, and that will be closed during December due to logging activity. So from a safety perspective, no one's allowed back there until that's complete. And so as of January, hopefully the snows will fall, and that will be a lovely cross-country area again. Number three, I got a letter from Laura O'Brien, and she is asking that the Board of Trustees consider the fact that there are a great number of valued volunteers within our community, and that we recognize them on our welcome sign by adding something to the effect, we appreciate our volunteers. When you consider the amount of volunteers that we have in SVAC, in the fire department, through Twigs, through our seniors, through quite a few number of organizations, the garden club, et cetera, that do so much for the village, that we add a little sign to our big welcome signs that say, we appreciate our volunteers. We don't have to
Speculator stuff?
welcome to Speculator sign, right? The one that says vacation land and whatever.
I agree.
The wooden ones?
Rebecca's thinking about it.
I need time to think
Just-
this through. I don't like.
Well, we can put that off. We can let you look at it. We can,
So it's the one as you come in, where you.
so there's one that you come up, Route 8 and 30 before you enter town. There's one as you're coming down 30, by the sawmill. And then there's one over by, Speckin. There's the big welcome sign. So we have 3 welcome signs.
I don't know, like, especially the one that's off to it's more in the distance on Route 30 and 8. Like, how would you ever make that big enough to be able to say
We
thanks?
appreciate our volunteers.
Yeah, I
I think
mean, and be able to see it. Do you think?
Well, what I would propose is that we have a proposal for what that would look like.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Also, is that the best place to put it?
Okay.
That's the best way to do it.
Is there another place that we can do that?
Yeah.
I don't know, we have these running signs, it's all always been messages on them. One at the library, and now we talked about one for the fire department.
That has not come back yet. That has not come back yet. So that's kind of like the fire department advertising their own things for the fire department.
Area, as you face the ambulance, where the Christmas, decorations go. Something there.
Okay,
So it's the Lane's property then.
yeah, that's not our
That'd be
property.
John Lane.
That's Jonathan Lane's. So since this is a very long meeting, I would like to come back and look at this.
And just tell Laura it's a great idea, and it's not, we're not dismissing it.
Part. We already did that part.
Okay,
But
good.
yeah, but let's think about where it could be, how it could be, where it looks. But I think it's a great idea to recognize our volunteers, because there are a heck of a lot of them. So, and they really make the village a better place because of it. All right, my last roundtable item are on the land use codes. So if you will recall, and this is just throwing it out there for now, so no need to think seriously. So land use codes. The land use codes that we are using have not been formally updated since 2001. So they're 20 years in their current state, which is really long. So it is a massive undertaking to update the codes, as well as a necessary requirement to do so. There were some modifications put together around 2005, I believe. Is that right, Kristen? 2005,
somewhere around there.
between 5 and 8, but not formally adopted, from what I understand. So Trustee Doniker and I have met with members of the planning board and the zoning officer to discuss how we might approach the update, because it is quite labor intensive. It's a book about 2 or 3 inches in diameter, and it really requires a lot of work that's beyond what we can ask volunteers to do. So regardless, we would have to pay someone even to type it, because we don't have a Word version of it. That's how, and I'm not gonna do that, although I can type. So to that end, I have contacted a group called General Codes. You can look up their website at generalcode, no S, generalcode.com. And I've asked them for a proposal. They put everything online for easy access by our zoning and planning boards, as well as make it accessible to the public. They integrate all of our local laws and amendments and update them with New York State modified international codes that create custom codes for the village. And you can go on and look at many other villages and towns across New York State and across the United States for which they have done this. So it's really quite impressive. So I asked the board of the planning board, as well as the zoning officer, to take a look at the codes. How would that be useful? How would it be helpful? They were all very positive with it. They were pretty happy with it. So there is an online code portal that houses the codified laws and municipal information into one site. So it's not just building codes, but all of our codes. So pets and whatever codes are all included in there. And it's quite useful for a variety of users, very user-friendly, as well as searchable, which is a big thing. So, I've asked Todd Metcalf from General Code to provide us with a quote and a proposal. And it's a pay-as-you-go, once they hit landmarks, you would pay that fee. So it's not all at once, and it can be divided across budget years. And we should be able to discuss it at our next board meeting. The only action item would be for the clerk treasurer to provide access to any codes prior to 1998. He's collected everything from 1998 onwards. So I don't know how big of a job that is, but I'll be happy to help with that. I hope it's not a big job. But I do know that there's a regulation about
We will
goats on the
see.
sidewalk, so I would like to see that maintained.
That's an ordinance
That's an ordinance. Well, I hope that gets in
from
there.
like the 70s.
Okay, but I like that one. I think I'm going to get a goat.
There's not a notebook that exists already.
There is a huge book from 2001.
It is not digital. Well, it's
It's-
digital because I scanned it in.
But it's not searchable, it's not any of that. Plus, there have been updates to codes and regulations that have been made since that time that aren't necessarily reflected in the code book. So that means our planning board manually has to go from the code book to the regulations, et cetera, to make sure that things are in keeping. It's very onerous.
Okay.
So we'll, yeah. So we'll come back with a proposal from generalcode.com. Yeah, okay. So at this point, we are foregoing a public comment, and I would like a motion to go into executive session to follow up regarding a resident's complaint against a village employee. I see a motion from Jim Rumsey and a second from who are you? Rebecca Smith, yes. So we will do that, and we will exit all non-board members from the meeting. So thank you, Mark, for listening in, as well as Tammy and Declan Radio.
Recording stopped.
Who listens in?